And I do have a limited quantity of just this size of foil. And let's see what size it is for you. It is, I think, 6 by 6. Yeah, 6 by 6 piece of foil that you can purchase in the shop. And I'm going to set my Bible to the side for just a moment because I'm just going to do this on some regular cardstock. And I'm going to take some graphite paper to do my tracing with. And I'm going to trace. I'm going to have to use a couple of pieces of graphite paper, these little tiny pieces, to get the full coverage. And I'm going to put this feather on there. And I'm just going to take my pencil and trace over that graphite paper. Okay, now you notice I didn't trace in all these little lines and dots and all of that. I didn't feel like it was necessary to do that. I can do it with my glue pen if I want, but I don't need to trace it over with the graphite paper. So the next thing I'm going to do is I've got this Quickie glue pen, and this puts out just a tiny little bit of glue, and I'm going to get it started on another piece of paper over here. There we go. Glue is flowing now. You want to make sure the glue is flowing. It comes out light blue, but it's really hard to tell. And I'm going to go over all these lines. Now, as I do this, I'm not just writing. I am kind of tapping and pressing as I go to make sure that glue is being released onto the paper. And I'm going to cover all my lines. And I have found that as long as I'm putting down a good amount of this glue, and I'm not flooding it, you don't want to flood. That's important, okay? No flooding. That as long as I get that down and not have little tiny wisps of glue, it does not dry before I'm finished. But if it did, I will show you a trick. Now I said it goes down blue and then it dries to clear. We want it to be at the clear stage before we use the foil on it. Otherwise, it will just smush and make just not pretty. The foil won't release. It won't work. So we need it to be to that tacky stage. Some people use a Zig glue pen for this process. I prefer the Quickie glue pen because it puts down a nice line of glue like a ballpoint pen tip. So the Zig glue pen puts down a line of glue that's very streaky, and I don't prefer that. All right, I don't know if you can see that, but there's just a little bit of a glint where that glue is, and I want to make sure that the last that I put down here is to the clear stage, and it looks like it is. And so I'm going to take a bone folder. You could use a popsicle stick. If you have a popsicle stick, it'll do the same thing. And I'm going to put my foil over top of this, And you want shiny side up. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to press it with my finger. Now what this does is it sticks to that place, so now it's not going to slide on me. So when I take my bone folder and I just start pressing it in, and you can do this in your Bible, it does not bleed through because it's just glue. So I'm going to do this all over where that glue is. And I want to keep rubbing. And now I've got it really pressed on well. And I'm going to keep rubbing until it starts to lift up. You see that lifting up? And I'm just taking the whole side of it now and just letting it lift up. And then I'll pull this back. And it got a little smeary. Some of the glue was stuck to this, and so it smeared and tried to act funny. So you test it before you do it, okay? So test a little piece of it. And one other thing that I find is very important after you finish this stage, come back with, this is just a powder tool. There are different kinds. This one has a bag with powder in it. And I'm going to rub it over the surface. And what this does is if there's any stray glue on this, then it will just go away. It'll adhere to that. So usually I don't have all of this kind of smearing. I think it's because I kept just rubbing it after it lifted. Once it lifts, let's just lift that foil off, okay? As you saw my Bible page, I don't usually have that problem. But look at that. Isn't that lovely? That foil. I just think that's just such a lovely touch. But again, I'm going to do it a little different because maybe you don't have foil. You don't really want to go to the trouble of getting foil. You know, have it in the shop, but maybe that's just not something that you want to do. And so I've got a fun alternative for us.